Hi everyone, my name is Alan Simon, and I just recently posted a bunch of drum audio that I was actually able to do with was in fact a Roland V drum set that I was able to use by a person who lived in my complex that I'm currently living in, and I have for many years had some wrist injuries, and I wasn't able to play for quite a few years until recently. Um, a lot of these drum audios I was able to do through an app called GarageBand, and I plugged my Roland kit in through the iRig um, adapter, which worked out very, very nice. I just had to make sure that my input levels of the Roland, the head unit on it, weren't too much for the what do you call it, the use of the app, so it would over bleed on it. In other words, it would distort and you wouldn't get a good signal. um I guess I'd have to say many of these audios just demonstrate just different things I had been working on recently by guys I've been listening to more recently, and was just practicing their type of patterns and becoming more aware of what modern drumming is becoming. And then some of them are more flashbacks to the older styles, such as earlier swing jazz patterns with lots of Cuban drum work with the toms, and the way the bass drum fits, the way I use the hi hats to count the beats, and then the way I use the cymbals or whatever it is that I use to make them more, I want to say, more effective in that the use of, you know, um, more in the use of what could actually be used in a song per se. And then the last two that I kind of put up, or the last three, had references to one of them, which was called multi-layer tracking, which was kind of a multi-layered um, drum pattern with many different types of rhythmic feels between certain parts of the drums, whether it be the bass drum, the hi hat, the snare, the ride cymbal, etc. It had all these different elements that showed different many um, accents, and in a sense, it showed very many different ways you can adapt your playability as a drummer in any situation. You just have to let your mind go and be open minded and be free to do whatever you want to do with the drums, whether it be, kind of a laid back thing, like on the laid back uh, drum audio that I did earlier, or if it's in sections of the last one that I put up, where there was parts that showed more of a swing type feel, with other parts that showed more of a modern approach to even metal drumming, what it's becoming with the double bass work and stuff like that. You know, all this has to do with me trying to show just what you can do with drums in general if you have a common knowledge of what a basic beat is and how to break it down and analyze it each part by part. And the way that I was able to do a lot of these parts and record them was I had to figure out which each limb was playing first before I put them all together, whether it be what the hi-hat was doing during some of these things, what when the other foot would come in on the double bass hits, um, the ghost notes, which are the little hits in between the big accents while I'm playing the ride cymbal. So you get a lot of very polyrhythmic feels that necessarily people really didn't use as much, you know, years ago. But I think ghost notes are a very important part of playing drums because it gives you a sense of free floating feeling with your drums. Like you can lightly hit in between your full accent hits, so it gives it almost like it sounds almost like you're playing a roll with one hand, but you're actually not because you're just lightly tapping in between the full hits. It just depends upon what the tempo that you're playing in, how fast it appears. And then sometimes when you don't hear it and it's all put together, the parts where I'm playing a lot of the ghost notes, you're getting where it sounds more like a straight roll with one hand. And in fact, it is actually lightly tapping between 2, 4, maybe depending upon what type of rhythmic feel I'm trying to give the particular measure, and what makes me really happy about all this is I hadn't played drums in like I want to say over 5-6 years due to wrist issues, and then recently I have become back to playing drums by using certain products that are out there that do actually work, that were causing me not to be able to play anymore, which was due to my wrists. My wrists had become what I want to call very, not arthritic, but they had a carpal tunnel issue going. And I had started taking B12 tablets, and it seemed to correct a lot of these sores I had in my wrists before. So I kind of had to retrain my body for several weeks before I had shot a lot of these audio drum compositions. And some of the first ones were just practices that I just decided to put on YouTube to kind of show what started the whole evolution up until more recently, where I started to get more serious with just laying down grooves that could be used in songs, actually. And as a drummer, which I started at a very young age, it's a very proud moment to see that happen. So I hope you like all this. And there was one track that I did in particular called A Tribute to Phil and John. And my two biggest influences growing up, drumming wise, were Phil Collins and John Bottom. And that one was kind of to show the use of a single bass, drum patterns, which the way John Bottom would use them. And the other one where I mixed the two was to show Phil Collins' sophistication of his sophistication of using lots of syncopated patterns between the hi-hats and the toms and stuff like that that he's known for doing. And I hope you like that one. And I hope you like all the audios that I put out that are my songs that are written by me, sitting around, just having fun. And that's what you should be doing if you're out there trying to make music, is just having fun. So have a good day, and I will post some more.